In Syndeia version 3.3, the User Configurable Mappings feature has been extended to include mapping relationships as part of model transforms between domains. This applies to mappings from SysML to Jira, Jama, DoorsNG, TestRail, TM4J, and Teamcenter. For more information about custom mappings, check out the 1.6 and 1.8 videos in the Syndeia Training Introductory module and other videos and exercises in the individual tool interface sections. Take as our example this SysML model of a block UAV issue A, which is connected to two other blocks by an allocate relation and a third block by a dependency. Our objective is to transform all four blocks and the relationship between them into Jira in one action. However, Jira does not have elements typed by block, allocate, or dependency, so we will need to create a custom mapping to Jira artifact and relation types that meet our needs. In this case, we will map SysML blocks to Jira improvement issues, SysML allocate to Jira relates to, and SysML dependency to Jira is cloned by. Now, these choices are arbitrary, simply to illustrate the process. We start with the model in Rhapsody and launch the Syndeia dashboard. On the Mappings tab, we begin by making sure that both the SysML and Jira artifact types are represented. Block with an additional Jira artifact stereotype, and improvement. We also need to check on relation types. Under Jira, we have the relates relationship, but not clones. To add clones, we right-click Jira, select Add Relation Type, select one of the available repositories from the pull-down menu, click Get Jira Issue Link Types, and choose cloners from the available relation types defined by this Jira repository. When we click OK, the new relation appears on the list. We do a similar process for SysML relations. We find allocate already on the list, but not decompose. We add a new relation type required by our SysML model, decompose, with name, description, and any additional stereotypes required. Click OK to add it to the list. Now that all the artifact and relation types we need are available, we assemble the mapping. This will be in the SysML to Jira group. We add mapping, setting the types to block with Jira artifact and improvement, and edit the name and description as desired. We want children included either immediate or recursively. Children are the elements at the outgoing end of the directed relationships. UAV issues A1, A2, and A3 in this example. And just to show that we can, we'll add attribute mappings to the transform between the block and issue. Now we include relations. Similar to creating an attribute mapping table, we click the plus sign and set a source relation type allocate and a target relation type relates. We click plus again and map dependency to clones. Finally, we save the mapping before moving on and check that the new mapping appears on the list. Now let's use this mapping to push our example to Jira. First, we make sure that Apply Mapping is checked on the Settings tab. In the Connection Manager tab, we choose Model Transform in the center, SysML on the left and Jira on the right. We will drag the top block UAV Issue A onto a Jira project. In the Select Mappings window, we choose the mapping we just created and confirm. After a short wait, the transform is complete. If we expand the Jira side, we can see all the new issues and open the top one directly from the dashboard. In the Jira web browser, we can see that Issue A is linked to A1, A2, and A3 by the relates and clones relationships as designated in our mapping. Back in Syndeia, in the Connections browser, we can run a compare across the connection between the UAV Issue A block and Jira issue. The diff table now includes a section comparing mapped relationships of both types. UAV Issue A2 maps to the Jira issue SDB-1831, and the others under Allocates to Relates. The same process would work in reverse, a transform from Jira to SysML. In the next step, we will modify both the SysML and Jira models. Using Rhapsody, we have added a new child issue, A4, to UAV Issue A with an allocate relationship. Through the Jira web browser, we have linked UAV Issue A by another relates to relationship to Issue A5. Now, when we do the same compare in Syndeia, our diff table has two red rows. The first represents the SysML allocation to Issue A4 that has no corresponding relation on the Jira side. The second represents the Jira relates to relation to Issue A5 with no corresponding allocation in SysML. When we select Sync Source to Target, two things should appear on the Jira side before all the conflicts are resolved, and the diff table turns green. First, a new issue corresponding to UAV Issue A4 is created in Jira with a Relates To link to Issue A. Second, Syndeia deletes an existing Relates To link from A to A5 because that doesn't exist on the SysML side. The Jira Issue A5 is not deleted itself, only its links to Issue A. In some cases with relationship mapping, the child element at the end of the relationship is of a different type than the parent, as in this example. UAV test case A, connected to UAV issue by a trace relationship, has a test case stereotype, and we want to map it to a Jira TM4J test case in the Jira project. Our mapping needs some additional information to handle the transform correctly. Back in the Mappings tab, we first find or create a mapping from the SysML block test case to the Jira TM4J test case. Second, we call up our original mapping, add the trace relationship to the relationships level, and add the block test case to TM4J test case mapping to related mappings. Now Syndeia will transform both the relation and test case correctly, assuming that the Jira repository has the TM4J test management capability. As always, we welcome your feedback on these training materials. Please submit your comments through our online help desk at www.intercax.com/help.